Hi, Daryl McManus here with another edition of Mind Time. And we're just so thrilled to be able to come to you again. And today we're going to cover our last checkpoint for the God Kind of Faith checklist. And that is, have I eliminated the words I quit from my vocabulary? You see, you can never quit in your walk of faith. Faith never quits. You know, there's a saying, winners never quit and quitters never win. I'm going to say that again. Winners never quit and quitters never win. Let's look at Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. Let's keep a firm grip on the promises that keep us going. He always keeps his word. God cannot lie. When you know your target, when you've got it in front of you, when you've found scriptures to stand on, and you've got so much word on the inside of you that target is so much bigger than the problems you're facing, I'm going to tell you, you're well on your way to victory. And then we've dealt last time with corresponding actions. I mean, faith always has corresponding actions. You know, there's a saying that I can't hear what you're saying because your actions are speaking so loud or louder than your words. I want to tell you, somebody may say, well, I'm in faith. Well, if you are in faith, you're going to be doing something. You're going to be doing something. I know of there was a minister friend years ago, and they were believing God for a vehicle. And you'll say, well, what do you do? What kind of corresponding actions? And she was this was a pastor's wife, and she was believing for a specific type of a Cadillac. And this was years ago. And so she did something you may say is unusual, but she got out on the empty driveway, got the water hose with a nozzle, started walking around that driveway, squirting the hose just like she was washing that vehicle before it ever came. You see, God won't require you to do something you can't. He will ask you to do something you can, and he will do what you can't. And then it wasn't before long that particular vehicle manifested in her driveway. If you're believing for a new wardrobe, make room for that wardrobe in your closet. You know, there's some people that say, well, I'm believing God for the mate for my life, for the right husband, or for the right wife. Well, there are some people that say they're believing for the mate that God's called them to, but you couldn't tell it by their life. They're so busy they don't have room for another person in their life. Then make room, make space. Make space. Do something that you can do, and then God will do what you can't. And so that ties right in with this checkpoint number 10. Have I eliminated the words I quit from my vocabulary? Hebrews chapter 10, verses 35 through 39 says this in the Message. So don't throw it all away. You were sure of yourselves then. It's still a sure thing, but you need to stick it out, staying with God's plan. If you know God's directed you in a specific direction, you need to stick it out. You need to stay with God's plan, so you will be there for the promised completion. It won't be long now. He's on the way. He'll show up most any minute. But anyone who is right with me thrives on loyal trust. If he cuts and runs, I won't be happy. Verse 39, but we're not quitters who lose out. You see, quitters are going to lose out. There are people listening right now. You're on the verge of throwing in the towel. And many people throw in the towel right before their manifestation. But anyone who is right with me thrives on loyal trust. If he cuts and runs, I won't be very happy. But we're not quitters who lose out. Oh no, we'll stay with it and survive, trusting all the way. I want to encourage you today to hold the course. Stay in faith. I want to tell you, the manifestation is just right around the corner. You've got to stay in faith. 1 Corinthians 9:24 says this in the Amplified Translation. Do you not know that in a race all the runners compete, but only one receives the prize? So run your race that you may lay hold of the prize and make it yours. You know, the woman with the issue of blood, she had everything going against her. I'm speaking to somebody specific right now. It seems like you have everything going against you. I want to tell you, she was a woman in Jewish society. She had that against her. She was broke. She had that going against her because poverty was a curse. And she had an incurable disease. In that day you had to go around saying, unclean, unclean, unclean. But I want to tell you, Jesus didn't go to that woman's house. If she had waited for Jesus to come to her house, she would have died. Oh, but that woman got a hold of the promise. She knew that Jesus was nearby. And so she began to say, if I can but touch his clothes, I shall be made whole. If I can just touch his clothes, I shall be made whole. If I can just touch his clothes, I shall be made whole. And that woman crawled. How do we know she crawled? Because she touched the hem of his garment. And she stayed the course. She never quit. She made it crawling, literally crawling through thousands, multitudes of people. And she touched the hem of his garment, the point of her faith. That was her target. The moment she did that, power, virtue came out of Jesus's body and made her completely well. Then we look at the Syrophoenician woman who refused to give up until her daughter was free of demon possession. We look at blind Bartimaeus and all the ridicule. Shut up, man. And he was crying out, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And that cry of faith got Jesus' attention, and his eyes were open. And then we look at Naaman. The prophet didn't even come out in person and speak to this general. Oh, but he sent a word. And the word was, you go into the Jordan River and dip 7 times. And I want to tell you, he was discouraged. He didn't want to do it. If he would have given up on the 6th dip, he would have never been cleansed. But he stayed the course. He never quit. He went down the 7th time, and when he came up, he was completely made whole. I want to encourage you today on this checkpoint number 10, never quit, never give up, because you're on the verge of your miracle. Until next time, Daryl McManus, and I'm reminding you that you need to feed your faith, starve your doubts to death. Do yourself a favor, let them die.